It's the Six Paths Commandments. Six Paths Dice here. Doing a little reaction to the Dnieka Marie and Six the Goddess broadcast. They had a live last night, so I didn't watch the entire thing. Just gonna respond to a few points they made. One point being about whether or not it should be grounds for divorce if a woman lets herself go or chooses to withhold sex. And they had a whole conversation on how Western culture plays a role, and also how men wind up in these situations. For the most part, whenever a man is in a situation where he's talking about he's not having sex or he doesn't have sex as much as he wants to, and 9 times out of 10, it's more than it just being about sex. It's also about the kind of sex that he wants to have. A man cannot really be happy or be happy with his woman if he doesn't really even get the kind of sex he wants. And that can be subjective for most men. Most men really only want a few different things, but more than anything, probably, it's the kind of sex where his pleasure is, I don't want to say sin is important, but basically, like, his pleasure is part of priority. And not all men can pick up on when they're having sex with somebody, and I don't want to say they're a selfish lover, but basically, I guess in so many words, I mean, when you're having sex with a more masculine woman, she doesn't really feel inclined to prioritize your pleasure, because honestly, because in so many ways, like, when you're interacting with a masculine woman, a woman that someone who will say, you know what, we won't even go through how to define a masculine woman. I think they kind of have an idea, but in a lot of ways, it's like having sex with a dude. It's almost like you with your homeboy. I just say, hey, you want to do it, and how it would be. It wouldn't necessarily be this romantic thing, And a lot of men don't realize the kind of sex you're getting is based off of the work you've done as a man, whether it's physically, whether it's socially, financially, or just or spiritually, whatever. Just all those things at one time. It could be all those things, but how she treats those things, it does say a lot about what she thinks about you. Now, whether or not that's through a filter of someone that has anxiety and depression, or just basically those low vibrational behaviors that are more of a stronger pattern in their lives, it can be kind of confusing. But going to that subject, what am I talking about? I cut this part out. What else? What else? Oh, the kind of man that winds up in a situation where, 'cause the thing is, like, a man winds up in a situation. It's not a situation where he said, okay, this is what I want. I want to be in a relationship where I can't really do anything financially without my girl, or I need her to pay a majority of the bills, and also she basically can, whenever I want anything, she can create an argument against it, an argument why she's not going to do it. Which in a lot of ways, though, in relationships, when people act that way and people have those kind of attitudes, again, that's another low vibrational behavior. When you don't feel as though things are worth doing, when it comes to things that you should do and things that would make you more successful, when you in your mind decide, nah, I'm good, and I'm not going, because the thing is, like, that person already does that for many other things anyway. They're already doing it for their personal life. 9 times out of 10, it's usually somebody who doesn't take that much pride in their appearance. Someone who's not very ambitious. This is someone who's not cooperative, and these are things you need when you're trying to look for a partner or just have any kind of relationship. Just the willingness to want to have the best outcome. These people will. They rather just destroy their own relationship rather than just do what needs to be done to move forward. But men, I want to speak more on how do men wind up in these situations. And men wind up in these situations from, I know for I can speak for myself. I was functioning at a decent level, but my reference to what high functioning was, high functioning as an adult, meaning that you have these boxes checked on things that adults should be doing, and usually that's that's something to do with your responsibilities, how you pay bills, how much money you make. all these things. Oh, goodness gracious, this is pouring out there. But the kind of man, so it's always an income thing. That's why, and I would tell any young person, any man in general, for one or young women, like first of all, help him out. Do not just have a child with him. I was telling a young lady this the other night, like, you really cannot have a child with a man that's younger than 30 years old. Really, you should wait to 35 if you want to be successful. Now, people want to have a sexy marriage and a sexy family. That's something different. Men are not meant to be young and sexy. Women are. Men are usually, again, when men are young, we're just not that useful. We're not the best. We might be pretty good protectors, but we're not the best providers yet. And a man needs a little bit of time to get to where, especially in this economy, it's different. It's different. It's different because over 20 years ago, you can be a regular person and be able to afford rent by yourself somewhere. It might not have been the best place, but you could afford a 1-bedroom. And I know that because the house the multifamily unit that my family moved into in '97, I believe that rent was about $90. So being as though the landlord never raised the rent. Now that was a 3-bedroom in the multifamily, so I would assume that around that time there was still 1-bedrooms in places that went for $500, $400 probably somewhere, in that area. If that place was a 1-bedroom, because I can remember when studios was 600, and even that was a little bit high. You know what I mean? According to the economy. So that's where we are. So overall, men have to do the work, bro. And do it in your own right. It's a difference in that if that's your girlfriend or that's a little shorter you seeing, but a man really shouldn't be getting serious having children. And also, men you don't have to have children. No one's forcing you to have kids. People just have kids for no reason. It's really some hood shit. If you're from the hood, you know what I'm talking about. Like seeing people like kids, young women just have kids for no reason. Young boys just making this. I don't know. I always say, like, don't no one love making babies like a broke nigga. Like broke niggas always want to make more kids and more copies of themselves, and they're always super happy when a girl is pregnant, even though their finances are not there, and all that stuff. But anyway, all right, 6-path shit.